Alright, hi everyone. I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but I figured, why not get back into the drill and kind of go over uh, some new things that I have going on. I'm actually down here right now in the city of Guadalajara in Mexico, and if you followed any of my last videos, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to provide a little bit of a insight of what it's like to be a digital nomad, to work online and travel the world. And basically my version of it is I try to talk a lot about the more realistic things. My opinion is that a lot of people that talk about being a digital nomad always try to scale it up as if there's this fancy thing where you're always sitting by the pool drinking a nice drink and just always having fun, where in reality that's not always the case. There's a lot more to it than that, so I try to bring a little bit more of the reality of what is it like in the real world to be a digital nomad. So the topic I wanted to cover today is basically a little introduction to Guadalajara and kind of like Mexico in general for working remotely from here. I've been here before to the city of Guadalajara for about a couple months in the past, and then I had to come back for a short trip because of work reasons. And there's certain things that I think, just like any other city you go to in the world, you would have questions about. I wanted to address those questions, and also I wanted to talk a little bit about some concerns that would be more relevant to Mexico. So without carrying the introduction too long, I'm just going to get right into it. So basically, I just a little quick thing about myself. I was previously in Taiwan. I was working remotely from there. Now I'm in Mexico. My next destination is most likely going to be back to Thailand and Chiang Mai. Spent some time there, and I actually was able to get a long visa, like a 6-month visa. I'm not planning to stay that long, but I have a good visa for Thailand, and I'll probably make a video about how to attain a 6-month multiple re-entry visa for Thailand if you are planning to go there. So let's just get straight into it. Number one thing about Guadalajara, I would say, is safety. Every time you think about Mexico, you're probably thinking okay, what is it like to be here? Are you gonna get mugged if you just walk out on the street? There's a lot of false perception of Mexico, especially in the U.S. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but definitely in the U.S. there's a lot of false perception. And from my experience so far, and I've been here for about altogether 2.5 months, I think that during the daytime, most of the places you go to are fairly safe. There are some areas, if you go to the really south of town or you go really east of town, there's some kind of sketchy areas, but most of the areas where are highly populated, where you have a lot of people walking around, it's just like anywhere else in the world. There's no concern. The main thing is at nighttime. I would say at nighttime there's definitely only certain areas that I would feel comfortable just walking around. And those areas are called, one of the areas is called Chapultepec. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I'll try to put the description in the name in the description. But basically, it's this one area in the center of the town. There's this large avenue, and there's a lot of people that hang out there at nighttime. There's a lot of bars, clubs, coffee shops, and basically everybody gets together over there at night. It's like the go-to place called Chapultepec Avenue. And if you ask around, everybody knows that place. So I would say at nighttime, that's a really good place to be. And then pretty much if you go 10 blocks either direction, you're fairly safe. And then also another area, which is the area I'm currently staying in right now, it's called Providencia. And I'll put the name in the description. And this is just an area that's about 15 minutes away from town, away from the center of town, and it's kind of a little bit of a suburby feel to it, and it actually reminds me a lot of Europe. And it basically is a really upscale, really fancy area. and you're very safe here. Even at nighttime walking around, I've never had any issues, never saw anything suspicious. So, but like anywhere else in the world, you have to, pay attention, use common sense, all that yada yada stuff. But in general, I would say that Providencia and Chapultepec at nighttime are fairly safe. You don't really have to worry. The other areas in Guadalajara, I would probably be a little bit concerned if I was just walking around. I would definitely want to know where I'm going, and I would take like a taxi or Uber or something to get there. So that's number one, safety. I think people make it a bigger deal than it is. It's not too bad here. So number two, I wanted to talk about places to work from. So we talked about safety. So you get here, you know where the safe areas are. You know that you're not just gonna get mugged or killed because you showed up here. So you're good to go. Now you're looking for a place to work from. There's actually 3 different places that I worked from so far. Co-working places, of course. And I highly recommend working from co-working places because first of all, over here it's pretty cheap, and then also the internet's good. All the places I've been to, the internet's good. You meet like-minded people and all those positive things about co-working places, and there's plenty of them available. So because this is kind of like the Silicon Valley of Mexico, there's just more and more co-working places popping up. So a few of the places I recommend going to, my number one favorite is called, it's a dog barking in the background. That's pretty normal here too, there's a lot of dogs barking. My number one place to go to for co-working right now is called Nevermind. It's kind of close to Chapultepec, a few blocks away. If you just look it up, I'll put the name in the description, but that's a great place to work from. A lot of kind of like more creative people are from there. It's really roomy, plenty of seating. It's great. I know the owners they're really nice. Another place that I've been to just once, it's called Epic Center, and it's right on Chapultepec Avenue. So it's called Epic Center, and basically it's kind of more like a startup co-working place. There's a lot of startups that work from there, and it definitely has a more coder vibe to it. A lot of people are like coders, and you get a little bit less of the creative people. Like I didn't meet as many graphic designers stuff there. I've met a lot of like hardcore coders there. So, but that was just my experience. But overall, really nice people too. I had a great time. The one and only day I went there, I had a great time, and a lot of good energy. Like everyone's like super into their work. And then the last place I've been to is called it's called Meta Co-work. So Meta METTA Co-working, something like that. That's actually over here closer to Providencia, the area I'm staying in. And I'll put the name of the place in the description. It's definitely more of a laid-back place. It's in this really huge house that they converted to a co-working place. It's really high-end, plenty of nice seating, the internet is fast, there's a nice backyard to relax and work from, foosball table, the whole 9 yards. Overall, I spent only 1 day there too, but I really enjoyed it. It's a really relaxing environment. A little bit less of like a tech kind of community there. It was like mostly geared for nonprofits and just like different businesses that give back to the community. But overall, they are accepting like any type of anyone from any industry. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be like in a nonprofit to work from there. So that's a cool place to go to and work from if you're staying in the Providencia area and you don't want to get stuck in traffic going to work to Nevermind or Epic Center. And I think there's a couple other co-working places I still haven't been to. I think one was called like Hacker Garage, something like that. All these places, the internet is really fast. People there, the community is great. The price is very reasonable. I think most of them are like $100 a month. And that's really fair for a co-working place. So I would definitely, either go to the one that's closest to you or try all of them out before you become like a member if you're planning to stay a long time. So that's the places to work from. So we talked about safety, we talked about places to work from. Now let's talk about internet speeds. So internet speed is an interesting thing here. As far as different places you go to, I would say that the Wi-Fi is okay, as they say here, más o menos. Some places you go to, like Starbucks and stuff, usually is pretty fast. Some other places don't even have Wi-Fi. Depends on which coffee shop you work from, but I wouldn't say that the Wi-Fi is super reliable everywhere. It's decent. And then definitely wherever you're staying, if you're gonna like Airbnb like I am, I would say you could check with the owner first to see how the Wi-Fi speed is. Currently, the place I'm staying in, the Wi-Fi keeps dropping and coming back on. It's really not the best, but I would say that check with the Airbnb owner. If you go around different areas in the city, don't expect the Wi-Fi to be perfect. It's definitely not the same as like the U.S. or like obviously those more developed countries. But as far as internet on your phone, if you're trying to get like really good internet on your phone, if you're trying to get what's it called, data plan or whatever on your phone, I would say that the best one here is like the biggest provider is called Telcel, and they have a prepaid plan called like Amigo or something like that. And basically it's like you pay as it goes, typical prepaid plan, and they have like 4G available, and it's pretty fast, and you could hotspot off your phone, so you could tether or whatever, so just in case you go somewhere that Wi-Fi doesn't work, you can tether off your phone. Most places you travel to in Mexico, Telcel will work a lot. I've been to a few places where there's not that much around, and Telcel still works. So I would say that going with Telcel is probably the best idea. It's definitely more expensive, but you want reliable internet if you're working online, obviously. So check that out. The other one, I think the next competitor is called Movistar. That one I've tried before. It's not the best. So I definitely recommend Telcel. As of right now, 2016. Best places to stay. So as far as places to stay, my go-to is Airbnb. So I definitely I always opt in for Airbnb if I'm staying somewhere for a while. I like to feel like I'm a resident. I talked about this before in one of my videos when I was in Taiwan, but my whole thing is to be in an area where I feel like I belong to the community and I'm just like living amongst other people. I don't really like the whole vibe, the feeling of staying in a hotel where I feel like a total tourist. So if you want to, whether you're staying in a hotel or Airbnb, I would say that the best areas to check out, Providencia here up in Providencia, the really nice area. It's definitely worth the extra money. It's not that expensive, but it's really nice, really safe. It's near this really giant park called Bosque de Columbus or something like that. It's like the biggest park around here in like the north of Guadalajara, and it's just a really great area to stay in. So Providencia, this neighborhood is great for just having like a relaxing stay. It takes a little bit longer to get to the center of town. It takes about 15-20 minute Uber ride to get to the center of town, but I really recommend this area if you want to have like a nice, safe, enjoyable stay. If you want to be a little bit more involved in the party scene and just be near where all this stuff is happening, I would say that again, like 5-6 blocks up to like maybe 10 blocks east or west of Chapultepec Avenue, that is probably a really great place to stay if you want to be close to town, want to have places to go out to, a lot of places to go out to. And obviously if you want to work around that area, you could probably just walk to work. You don't even need to Uber. So yeah, those are the two places I recommend. Other areas I'm not super familiar with, but from what I hear, those are like the safest areas, best areas to stay. Transportation. So we talked about safety, we talked about places to work from, internet speed, best places to stay, and then now let's talk about transportation. So as far as transportation goes, Uber is really cheap in Mexico. If you're from the States, you know that Uber prices could be pretty dang high. So If you get Uber X here, you could either share with other people, do a pool ride, or just get the Uber by yourself. The prices are really fair. Usually for like a 15-20 minute ride is like $4 or something like that. It's ridiculous. So I would say number one is Uber. Even from like the airport, when you come into the city, you can grab an Uber, and it ends up being like $7-8 or something to come all the way from the airport to the city. Let's see what else. Transportation wise, there's a metro here in Guadalajara, but I haven't ridden it. I think it just goes like, there's just 2 lanes, one from south to north and one from east to west, but you're probably not going to use that much. And then public transportation is just super cheap, but from what I've seen, it looks really dangerous. The bus drivers drive really insane, and then people usually pile up during the peak hours, and it looks really uncomfortable. So I would say Uber. That's basically what I would do. And then last thing, things to do for fun. So we talked about all that stuff. So finally, let's talk about things to do for fun. So over here, is Mexico. People like to have a good time. There's a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, a lot of like different places like that to go out to. So if you're into the nightlife thing, there's in Guadalajara, it's just infinite amount of things to do as far as that. If you're more into nature, it's a little bit of a bummer for nature stuff. There is a really big park here in the Providencia area. I would say that that's a good place to go to get a little bit of taste of nature. There's another big park in Zapopan area. This is like a kind of a more suburby area towards the west side. There's that area to go to, and then there's some hikes in the north that I haven't been to yet, but I hear is really nice. About like maybe 20-minute Uber ride from the center of town, where you could go on some hikes that seem to be pretty awesome. Other than that, there's a lot of getaways for the weekends. So there's a little city called Tlaquepaque. It's really cool. You have to check it out. It's a very historic place. It looks very Spanish style. There's a town called Tequila, where like tequila I think originated from, and you could go there, take like this train called Tequila Express, which you get on it. I haven't been on it yet, but I hear you get on it and it takes you to Tequila, the town, and by the time you get there, you're just smashed and you're completely drunk, which sounds, I guess, like fun. So there's that, and then also if you wanted to get away even further, Puerto Vallarta is like a beach city on the west side. It's about like a 4 or 5 hour bus ride, or like a 1 or 45-minute plane ride away from Guadalajara. So that's a good place to go to relax for maybe the weekend. And there's a bunch of little beach cities nearby there that I'll probably make a video about those places later on, because I've been to both a few beach cities there, and it's just really beautiful, and some great places to work from as well. So anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say about Guadalajara. I'm not staying for much longer this period, but I'm probably going to come back here. And if anything else I could think about that I could inform you guys about Guadalajara, I will. Overall, I would say great experiences here, as long as you stay in the good areas, and then you go to co-working places for work. It's an amazing place to be. And there's so many things to see here in Mexico, and the prices are really cheap compared to the US. So if you're in the US and you're looking to do some digital nomading or get your foot wet and try this thing out, I think Mexico is a great place to start, because it's close to home and prices are cheap, and as far as like people speaking English, well, that's another thing. Not that many people speak English, surprisingly, but younger people typically speak a little bit of English. So yeah, it's a great place to start. If you haven't really done this before, it's a really great place to start. Some amazing beaches to go to too. So anyways, that's all I have about Guadalajara. I'll try to get back into this thing and make more videos for you guys, talk about my experiences, and provide some advice and stuff about different places I go to. So I'll see you guys in the next video.